Hey y'all, Michelle Raza here with the Finding Yourself Book Club. And today we're going to finish up Lindsay Gibson's Chapter 6 of Recovering from Emotionally Immature Parents. We've been covering her 10 steps or 10 responses for how to protect your right to your inner world. Please do, if you get a chance, like and subscribe. It really does help us little YouTubers. And check out my website. I'm at www.findingyourselfsatx.com. There you can take my free life balance questionnaire and submit it to me. You can also just fill out a contact form and I'll be in touch. Your first consult is always free and there's no obligation thereafter. Thank you. Okay, so we will dive in. We're going to wrap up the chapter here. Let me just do a summary. So if this is the first time that you're watching this video or this section, you missed the first 9 responses of how to protect your right to your inner world. So I'm going to just give a little summary and then wrap it up with number 10. Number 1, claim your right to ignore them. And by them, we're talking about EIPs or emotionally immature people. 2, suggest other ways to connect. And specifically here, she talks about when they mock you or tease you. 3, use questions to block their disrespect. And that's where you kind of don't pick up the joke and you ask them for clarification. Number 4, deflect instead of reacting. Number 5, roll past their envious put-downs. Number 6, defend your right to be sensitive. Number 7, claim your right to think things through. Number 8, defend your right to be upset. Number 9, defend the legitimacy of your problems. And to wrap it up, response number 10, validate your right to feel the way you do. Sometimes EIPs flat out tell you, you shouldn't feel that way, or there's no need to get upset, thereby invalidating your experience. This suggests your emotions are wrong or abnormal. You can stay true to yourself by responding thoughtfully with something like, I don't see why I can't have all my feelings about this. Or you could say, I'll probably feel better later, but it makes sense that I would be upset right now. You could also challenge the implication that you're overreacting by asking, are you saying most people wouldn't be upset by this? I wonder. Remember, the goal of the responses above is to stand up for the legitimacy of your inner world, not to try to change the EIP. Instead of reacting with frustrated passivity, you can take action and express your human right to feel your feelings and think your thoughts. When you speak up, you claim your status as a co-equal. In the next part of this book, you'll learn how to use your inner guidance, declutter your mind, and update your self-concept to reclaim your emotional autonomy and find the types of relationships you really want. Highlights to remember. And these are highlights from the entire chapter, not just this section. We looked at how and why EIPs are most often hostile toward your inner world. You saw how EI parents use mockery and other rejections to negate the importance of your inner life, teaching you to mistrust and invalidate your inner experiences. We explored the impact of EI parents on your relationship with your inner world. Finally, you learned 10 ways to stand up for your rights to have your own feelings and points of view. So one thing I was thinking about as I was going through all of these responses, it's funny, right? Because in some cases, so number 1, you just ignore them. Number 2, suggesting other ways to connect. That's where you you don't let their mocking or teasing stand and you address it, kind of confront it. But then, and that's kind of the same with the questions, right? You're confronting their mockery. But then, so that's kind of one strategy. And then the other strategy, so the deflection, that's why I posted, use that one with caution, because I would say that's a very insincere way of connecting with someone, which when you're dealing with an EIP, you can't really connect with them anyway. So I guess it's okay. But I would be very careful with deflection, especially if you're just using that in general with someone who you haven't deemed to be an EIP. It is very hurtful. It can be very hurtful. But so 1, 2, and 3 are kind of confronting it by asking those pointed questions or suggesting other ways to connect. Number one is ignoring, so not confronting, but 2 and 3 are confronting. And then when you go into deflecting, it's like a cousin of ignoring. And then number 5, rolling past their envious put downs. If you take 2 and 5 together, so response 2, sometimes EIPs mock or tease you because they don't know how to make contact any other way. And so here she talks about the confrontation. So like Rick says, Rick overheard Samantha talking about her new car. He entered the conversation by asking, "What color is it?" "White," she replied. "Oh, like a toilet," he said with a mischievous grin. When he made the crack about her car, Samantha looked thoughtful, then said, "I think you're trying to connect with me, Rick. I'm really happy about my new car. Do you have some real questions about it?" So take this one, right? But then look at number 5. When EIPs feel envious of people, they often make fun of them. Here's an example. Alice had an important art opening in her parents' city. At the gallery reception, her mother introduced Alice to her friends as, "Here's my fancy schmancy artist daughter." Alice momentarily cringed. That's not how she saw herself, and certainly not how she wanted to be introduced. EIPs do this attention-getting mockery in front of others, so you feel like a terrible sport if you object. The most effective response to this behavior is to roll past it and hold on to your happiness. Alice diffused her mother's jab by smiling and saying, "Yep, here I am," as she shook their hands. So Samantha could have easily just have said, "Yep, like a toilet," and diffused it that way. So really, either one of these could work for either one. So instead of Alice here with her mother at the art place saying, "Yep, here I am," she could have said, "Mom, I think you're trying to connect with me. Do you have anything real to say?" And that would have been really uncomfortable in front of everybody else. But it's kind of, the point is, it's kind of your choice. How you respond is your choice. And how you feel, like how you choose to respond, and then how you feel after you take that response kind of should determine how you continue to respond. If it's better for you to just roll with it, then that's what you should do. If that's how you feel best coming out of that situation. If it's better for you to have that confrontation, then that's what you should do, because that's what's going to make you feel better coming out of that situation. So a lot of these different examples, if you pick up a copy of the book and you look at it, you could easily use these responses in any of these situations. It kind of just depends on how you feel at the moment, whether you have control of your ability to respond instead of just react, and then how it makes you feel after you use that response. So take these 10, put them in your back pocket, start using them one at a time, and then see how that makes you feel. And so whichever response makes you feel best, or whichever few responses make you feel best, that's what you should do. And so then in the next video, we're going to move on to part 2, emotional autonomy, reclaiming the freedom to be yourself. And so that's where, if we're looking back at Dr. Gibson's first book, she spends the first kind of 7 or 8 chapters, I think it's 7 chapters, talking about what is an EIP, how do I identify an EIP, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Then chapter 8, she starts giving us some tips of what to do about EIPs. Now, this book is a lot more heavily focused on what to do about the EIPs in your life. And so this second section is going to have a lot more exercises and is focused on finding yourself in the way, interacting with your inner self, getting rid of your role self, and then finding ways to genuinely connect with people that can reciprocate. So super interesting, super important stuff. Thank you for being here with me on this journey. I love your comments. Please do like and subscribe. I do respond. It is personally me who responds to all of your comments. So I love engaging with you guys. And if you get a chance, check out my website. I'm at www.findingyourselfsatx.com. Take care, y'all. We'll talk more Monday. Bye.